So for week 8, we talked about objectives and assessments. We're focusing, or my lesson focuses on alphabet, letters, and sounds. So a quick summary. This lesson will be with kindergarten to first grade students or small group in a resource room, and the subject is ELA, and the topic is working with students on letter recognition and the sound of the letters as well. So a quick summary talks about the formative and summative assessment and what I will do in the lessons. So for the standards, content standard talks about recognizing and naming all the upper and lowercase letters of the alphabet. And the ISTE standard talks about students setting personal learning goals, developing their strategies using technology, and then reflecting on their learning process to improve their learning outcomes. For objectives, for the ISTE standard, the student has to do the whole standard, but then set or make at least 2 goals per week using the websites provided. And for the content standard, again, they have to do the whole standard, but I get at least 80% accuracy on knowing the letters and the sounds. So for my formative assessment, the students will be using the website Quizzy, and I will create 5 to 10 questions, quizzes weekly depending on what letters we're focusing on, and the questions will either ask what the letter is or what the sound would be. And the students can also look at previous quizzes throughout the week to practice that. So I would sit down with each student from the small group individually, maybe Thursday or Friday, and record on a chart of what letter and sounds so students can identify in the quizzes. And then what this relates to the content standard, obviously because of the letter, recognizing letters and sounds. And this relates to the ISTE standard because the students are setting personal goals. And then from what questions they got wrong and seeing what they want to accomplish the following week. Here's the link to it. So they listen to this and choose what answer is correct. So going to our summative assessment plan is for students to create a book reader. As their summative assessment, students would include a page for the letter and a page for the recording of the letter sound. And they need to get at least 80% to pass according to the objectives that I talked about previously. And so the technology is book creator, and students will create a book with each letter on one page, and then they'll record themselves saying the sounds of the letter. So here's an example that I created. So I have here's the cover, and then they have the letter and the sound down here. And here's a rubric. So the students have to say the letter, sound, and the teacher can put a check mark by each of them. Combinations. So for the formative, the students can have more answers or questions or less. For the summative,